Human rights lawyer and activist Barrister Femi Falana has warned President Bola Tinubu to hastily address the suffering of Nigerians caused by the removal of petrol subsidy and provide some form of palliative to cushion its effect. While lamenting the reverberating effect of the subsidy removal, the fiery lawyer wants the government not to allow the citizens suffer from what he called the irresponsibility of the ruling class. He said what is important in the implementation of government policies is to look at the impact it has on its people.
Look at the impact on the people. Now that it's clear that those who initially applauded the removal of fuel subsidy are beginning to appreciate the enormity of the crisis that it has caused for the country, and now mounting pressure on the government to fast-track the process of cushioning the effects of removal. No doubt there was a lot of fraud that characterized the management of fuel subsidy, and the government will have to investigate that. Secondly, the government will have to move speedily to address the suffering of the people, undeserved pains inflicted on the people because of the irresponsibility of the Nigerian ruling class. Whereas General Muhammadu Buhari had promised in 2015, when I get to power, I am going to fix all the refineries. And the government is saying now that we are saving $10 billion from the removal of fuel subsidy. And that is what the government will have to address. How much of that fund will be deployed, will be earmarked for addressing the challenges faced by Nigerians? And I'm reluctant to say this. For the past 42 years or thereabout, that the government have been increasing, Nigerian governments have been increasing the cost of petroleum products. It was only the Abacha Junta that set up the Petroleum Trust Fund to address problems of hospitals, build roads, and the rest of it. Since then, all the gains have been lost in the system through diversion of the fund. So if the government wants to save the bulk of the $10 billion that was meant for fuel subsidy and deploy that to addressing the problems of the people, there has to be an agency to go out there, people by credible people, to go out there and address the problems confronting our people. And by the way, like you said, we're not dealing with only civil servant workers. The government of Kwara State and Edo State have already reduced the number of working days from 5 to 3. And I do hope other governments are going to follow suit or devise other means to address the problems confronting our people. Since all the state governments are clapping for the removal of fuel subsidy, the attention should not be on the federal government alone. The state government must intervene decisively. The local government must also bring out their own palliatives to address the pains that have been inflicted on the Nigerian people.
Mr. Femi Falana, who complained bitterly about the theft of crude oil in Nigeria, claims about 600,000 barrels of Nigerian crude oil are being stolen daily, while urging the Tinubu administration to revisit the Malam Nuhu Ribado's report.
Only producing 1.2 million barrels, so 600,000 barrels are stolen daily. And this is unacceptable. No responsible government can say that oil theft cannot be combated. I'm aware that very soon the oil thieves are going to be exposed. whereas there are 36 oil terminals, only 20 of them are metered. In 2012, after the protests, the Jonathan administration set up the new Ribadu Committee to investigate the monumental fraud that informed importation of fuel. At the end of the investigation, that panel came up with a report that many of our terminals are not metered. I am aware that we have 36 terminals, only 20 are metered. So the remaining 16 have not been metered, and that is where oil is stolen. So this regime has a task, more so that Mr. Nuhu Ribadu is now the national security advisor. He must walk his talk by ensuring that the recommendation submitting to Nigeria is the only oil-producing country. The only oil-producing country. Talking of oil theft, talking of smuggling of petroleum products, talking of inability to fix refineries. And so this must end. And for me, that is the main issue to address. If you are giving 5,000 naira to poor people, 10,000 naira, and you are devaluing the currency through dollarization, you are not going to address the problems. In fact, you are going to maximize poverty and increase inequality in the country. So the government will have to address and put an end to oil theft. It's not oil science to do that. I mean, rocket science. With the appointment, with the employment of a non-state actor.